Well, welcome to Bill's History Channel, and we are in the Victorian sitting room with Goober the Traveling Bear, and we have a special guest tonight. We have none other than Tim Cutler, also known as Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, what are you going to teach us about tonight?
Howdy, howdy. This is a painting that was completed in 1825 at the commission of my second great-grandfather, Joseph Cutler. Nobody alive has ever seen this painting. This is a reproduction. I took it to Pittsburgh where Bob Griffing's favorite printer made 200 copies for me. This picture was intended to be a gift to Citizen Lafayette in 1825 when he came back to the United States. There was a big party for Lafayette in Morristown. He spent quite a lot of time in Morristown, and the place where the party was this building right here. This is known as the Sansay Dancing House. Mr. Sansay was a refugee from Dominica, and like many other French refugees during the slave rebellions, he came to the United States and he found a home in Morristown. Of particular note here is the First Presbyterian Church and the courthouse. This courthouse was demolished in 1827, so we know that the painting was done sometime before 1827. On the far side of the painting over here is the Ford Mansion, which served as Washington's headquarters in 1779. His headquarters in 1777 was at the Arnold Tavern, which is right here. Now, the Continental storehouses where the quartermaster general doled out the limited supplies that he had available to the troops that were stationed at Jockey Hollow was right here. A variety of other houses, some of which still stand, are depicted very clearly in this picture. This is the road to Vealtown, which is now Bernardsville. Halfway to Bernardsville is the Jockey Hollow encampment. The reason I say that nobody alive has ever seen this painting is because the Cutler family is very secretive and antisocial, and nobody alive, except for members of my family, actually know this painting exists. It has never been on public display, but this is the first depiction of Morristown. It was painted from the top of a hill behind town called Fort Nonsense, which was part of George Washington's beacon system. If the British ever invaded from over here, this is to the east, the American forces would melt into the western hills and the British would be sucked into a wilderness that they would probably have regretted. There are iron mines all through this area over here. This is to the north of Morristown. There is more iron that came from New Jersey than from all the other places in the world combined between 1750 and 1820. Virtually all of northern New Jersey was completely stripped of its trees to fuel the forges and the furnaces. So this is an important painting. Hardly anybody's seen this. I've given a couple of copies to relatives and to the Morristown National Historical Park. And over the course of the next couple of months, further research will identify, probably within a couple of days, as to when this painting was actually painted.
Wow. And I guess, where was the original painting? I think you said it was at your grandfather's?
My second great-grandfather commissioned this painting. His intention was to give it to Lafayette to remind him of his time in Morristown. He lived in that house until 1850. His son lived in the house until 1902. His grandson lived in the house until 1933. This painting didn't move from that house for 100 years. The next place it went was to my grandfather's house, where it sat in the dining room for 50 years. After that, it went to my mother's house, where it was up in the guest room for 20, 30, 40 years. And when my mother went to a retirement community, she left this for me, and I took it to Pittsburgh to have it copied, and now everybody can enjoy the first depiction of Morristown, New Jersey.
And this was supposed to have gone to Lafayette. That's amazing. Amazing story. Tim, anything you want to close out with?
I like old pictures because they tell plenty of stories. And when you look really closely at it, you can see that what we know about George Washington's encampment at Morristown for 2 winters was absolutely true. This was where America was born. More than any other part of the Revolution, Morristown was where it happened.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tim, aka Uncle Buck, and thank you for giving me one of these also. Everyone out there, stay safe, be kind, and be courteous.